He was the best quarterback running and throwing the ball in the entire NFL his rookie season. He wasn't very big and was soft spoken, but was lion-hearted on the field as he set records that stand unto this day. He played during a time of tremendous social unrest, but let his game do most of the talking. No, I'm not talking about modern day phenoms like Pat Mahomes or Russell Wilson, but a man who was the Jackie Robinson of his position that most of you have never heard of. I only ran across this story while living in Los Angeles and working in Long Beach, California, and could not believe the legends he surpassed. Football, not football, reveals who this great man is for the culture. Let's go. I wanna welcome you to hashtag football, not football. And we're definitely we're blessed to have you to speak with you and discuss the trailblazing that you've done for so many that have come behind you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. So first off, I wanted to start off with I read a story about the magic bag. What was in the magic bag, sir?
Oh, just my cousin was a elementary school teacher and coach. He's the one that coached me and Gail Sears and Johnny Rogers. He had all of us when we were kids, and he got pissed off at me because this bully was running me home. So he took a bunch of stuff out of his bag at the elementary school, and football, basketball, baseball, soccer. He brought the whole shebang over to the house, and then he thumped me upside the head. He says he used to call Sad Sack. If he liked it, he used to call Gil Sears Sad Sack. He used to call me Sad Sack, and I was his cousin. And so he thumped me upside the head, and he said, "Look, I'm gonna teach you how to play each one of these sports in this magic bag, in this bag." He didn't call it magic bag, but he said, "I'm gonna teach you how to play each one of these sports, and when I come back from work, he used to work about a block away at the packing house. This is during the summer. So when I come back from work, I don't ever want to hear that you ran away from this bullet." And so I just started playing with all these little sports, starting with baseball and whatever. And that's how I got started. The magic box. I call it the magic box because it transformed my entire life.
I was reading, you were drafted in the 14th round by the Broncos, a round which doesn't even exist anymore, right? Which
Right. They closed the program down.
So and I've read that you insisted on going to camp as a quarterback. Why'd you make that move?
Well, what happened was, they expressed some interest in me as a defensive back. Because they saw me play basketball, they saw me play football. So, I figured the Denver at the time was looking for defensive backs, and so that was the position that they wanted me to try out for. But I found out that Denver was one of the only teams in the NFL that had their practices in front of the media and the fans. So when they approached me about, playing defensive back, I told them I would play defensive back or compete, but you got to give me a 3-day trial of quarterback, or else I'm going back to school. I said all I wanted to do was to showcase my skill, because it was in front of the fans and the media, and they thought I was crazy. It was a 14th round draft choice, trying to dictate where I played and what position I played or whatever. And I just told them that, all I wanted was a 3-day trial, just 3 days. That's all I wanted. And I thought, 3 days would give me the opportunity to showcase, the skills that I had. I had made All-American in college, and could have played professional basketball if I wanted to or whatever.
Wow.
And so that's how it happened. They finally, after a while, they finally acquiesced to my so-called demands, that I get an opportunity to showcase my skills in the 3-day trial that they normally had in Denver.
On September 29th, 1968, you entered the game. You were the fourth-string quarterback. You entered the game in the fourth quarter. So that was your first action in the NFL. Does anything stick out in your mind about the first time you got in an NFL game?
Well, I was stuck out there. I was stuck out there, and I didn't have any. See, I didn't go through training camp. Only those 3 days, with any experience and a learning curve or anything like that. So I never thought I was going to play. Steve Tensley, the starting quarterback, got hurt, and at that time I was a backup, but I didn't have but a few plays. They made a couple of adjustments for me to go in the game if I had to, but then I wasn't prepared to go in to actually play with a full menu of plays. So we were behind, even though the fact that I had a great camp during those 3 days catapulted me into at least being considered if there was anything happening. Whereas if I had to go in, I'd have, some semblance of a play structure.
Absolutely.
But I didn't have enough in my repertoire to play a game. Well, all of a sudden, during those 3 days, Steve Tensley got hurt. He was in the starter at the time. He got hurt, so they used those other quarterbacks that were in that 3-day camp, that I participated in. And so we came into the third game of the year, and I'm sitting there on the bench, and he told me, "Briscoe, you going in?" And I said, I said to myself, what in the world what in the world is happening? You know, you put me in the game. I don't have but a smattering of plays or whatever. But you know, I said, oh, hey, all I did was go out there with the attitude that I had all my life. That especially, you know, going here and just play college ball, play sideline. You know, just play. You know, just go out there and run and gun. Because I didn't have enough plays for a cerebral approach to the game at that time.
Heard this, you know, a bunch of times, but on October 6th, that first start, how'd you feel?
Well, you know, see, I was a quarterback all my life, from Pop Warner all the way to Denver. And I went to a melting pot school. I grew up, you know, with all types of kids, Mexicans, black, white, or whatever. So, you know, I wasn't like a lot of the black quarterbacks that came directly after me, James Harris and Henry Jackson and those guys. They went to a predominantly black school. So I wasn't weaned on being a quarterback in a black college. I quarterback white kids.
He propelled you to you still holding the rookie record for 17 TDs in only 5 games for the Denver Broncos. Because there's been some good quarterbacks in Denver that came after you, and they still haven't touched your record, sir.
Well, I don't think Denver's ever had a black quarterback again.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm just talking about good quarterbacks, right? I'm just saying there's been some good guys that played there, and
well, one thing I'm proud of is the fact that Elway didn't break my record, Tim Tebow didn't break my record. After all these, 50 years ago, you know, the record should be broken at some point in time. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But those are the two most established quarterbacks, you know, came in as rookies like I did, but they didn't break my record. And
Absolutely.
not being selfish or anything, but you know, I'm proud to have kept that record all of these years, even though they never let me play again.
Okay. So now I have a question about current football. You know, how do you see it playing out? How much of a fan are you of some of these younger black quarterbacks who are excelling and doing, you know, amazing work in the NFL when you remember when it was so much harder for a brother to be able to get a snap. And now you see these guys and they're excelling and they're some of the best players in the league now. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel real good. We've got a plethora of black quarterbacks, and they're not called black quarterbacks, they're quarterbacks. And that's all we wanted to be.
Yes, sir.
Quarterback. But, you know, the name black quarterback always came up when we were playing. And the fact is that if these kids that are playing in the league today were playing in '68, they wouldn't be playing quarterback.
Absolutely.
They would put them to another position.
I
If
know
I
I was
was
reading about.
if I was playing, you know, today with my style of play, then I'd be playing quarterback. Nothing, not bragging or anything. I'm just saying that's just the way it is.
You can brag. It's okay. It's okay. I was reading a
See,
story about the quarterback in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar
That
Jackson, they called me on him and asked me, should he play a different position? Well, hell, when I was playing, they didn't make Fran Tarkenton play another position, or Bob Greasy. As a matter of fact, I beat Bob Greasy one-on-one when I was a quarterback for Denver. We played Miami, and I ended up being his receiver
so
in Miami.
absolutely. So you were traded in '71 to Miami. How great was it to win a Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, that was I just wanted to know if I could have won the Super Bowl. Bob Greasy was my quarterback. I beat Bob Greasy as a quarterback one-on-one, and I often thought about could I have quarterbacked the Dolphins or any team to the Super Bowl, and I often thought that I could.
Did that ever come up in conversation between you and Bob Greasy when you got to the Dolphins that you beat him?
Well, Larry Zonka, because Zonka was on that team I beat and kicked, and Zonka came up to me one day and said, "Well, when Greasy got hurt, and Earl Morrall had to take his place. He said, we didn't worry. You could have taken us." And it surprised me because Zonka doesn't give many compliments. And, he said that he thought that I was good enough to play quarterback because he remembered that I beat him. But he brought that up in a conversation, and that was one of the best compliments I ever had.
And that's great that you have these level of ball players coming to you, and complimenting you and telling you how they appreciate you and they know that you can win. And the fact that when you went to Buffalo, you went to the Pro Bowl twice as a wide receiver, and you're a quarterback, but because you weren't given a chance, you still went and you balled out at another position. I don't, there aren't many players that can do that.
Well, my thing is, in all my life, is, growing up in the '60s, you can never give up. And we all knew that you had to be 3 times better than a white player or person in pursuit of the same job. That's just the way we were taught. So you couldn't give up. You can give out, but you couldn't give up.